are in Krakow at the Atmosphere conference, and my guest is Thair from DevOpsGuys. Hello, Steve.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Steve, could you please tell us who DevOpsGuys actually are?
DevOpsGuys are a UK-based company specialised in managed web operations and sort of DevOps consultancy, helping people build continuous delivery pipelines and getting their ideas into production.
All right. Your speech is titled DevOps and Need for Speed. What exactly are you going to speak about tomorrow?
I think a lot of the other people who are presenting at the conference are talking about, the how of DevOps and the what of DevOps. They're talking about technology and they're talking about, parts of their transformation. My talk is talking a lot more about the why of DevOps. Why is it that organizations are looking to get their products to market sooner? What are the market forces? So the idea is to enable people who attend the talk to be able to go back to their business and say, hey, here's some business things, nothing to do with technology, that will enable you to, hopefully get them to give you the money that you need to start your DevOps transformation. All
right, and speaking about DevOps, if you were to tell people simply and shortly what DevOps exactly is?
I'm not sure that there is a simple and short definition, but I think that DevOps is best seen as agile, extended out beyond just the narrow parts of the software development lifecycle. It's trying to take those ideas of agile and lean and expand them to talk about the entire product lifecycle, not just the software development lifecycle, but to encompass, the sort of how we create the ideas at one end through to how we run those ideas in production. So I think, it's just an alternative model for running many parts of your IT organization.
As far as I know, you promote DevOps methodology, let's call it this way, a lot. Why is it worth to go DevOps?
Why is it worth to go DevOps? I think it's worth to go DevOps is because the old ways just aren't working. The very siloed ways that ITIL prints to for project management, people don't like working in that way. It's depressing, it's demeaning, it's boring. I think that with the advent of cloud, with the advent of all of the new frameworks we've got, with the advent of all the new tools that we've got, we're just in a position now where we can move much, much faster. So, the old methodologies of ways of running our IT organization just can't keep up. Can't keep up with what the business needs, can't keep up with what the technology enables us to do. So the methodology is now the limiting factor. So DevOps is a way of trying to say, hey, how can we take all of these new tools and all these new ways of working, and in fact we've got to now match them with new organizational frameworks for our company.
So in fact it seems like it's necessity, not the option.
I'd say unless you're in a very, very traditional organization that is somehow isolated from all of the other market factors, that's isolated from, moving towards having a digital supply chain, that's isolated away from cloud, it's just, you're going to have to change. I don't think it's an option. Whether DevOps is always the right option for you or whether DevOps is only part of the solution, I think there's some interesting stuff coming out of Zappos at the moment. They've talked about a new framework called Holacracy, which is more about how you run your entire organization. And I think DevOps is just part of a continuum from moving from this very static, traditional view of an organization. It's looking at the IT part, and I think this is part of a wider continuum where these just completely different ways of running your organization are starting to appear. It's exciting.
So who would you recommend to join such events like Atmosphere or other DevOps conferences?
I think it's unfortunate that more people from the business don't come. I really, truly do. And I think at the other end there are CEO, CIO, CTO level events where I think Atmosphere is much more practitioner focused, much more developer and technology focused. I think it's unfortunate that at that high end it tends to be events that are run by specific vendors that have very specific products or suites of products to sell. I think it's a real shame that people don't. I think that senior managers don't come to events like this. I think anybody who's doing dev and anybody who's doing ops, it's an obvious choice. I think that we need to get a lot more representation from the testing and QA community, because you very rapidly, once you start to build an automated continuous delivery pipeline, automated testing sort of, which is basically in the middle of the pipeline, very quickly becomes a bottleneck. So unless we sort of start to pull the QA community in and making sure that they're fully a first-class citizen, is it dev test ops, is it biz dev test ops, it should appeal to everybody.
So what's the next DevOps conference where we can meet you?
Next DevOps conference will probably be at Velocity in Amsterdam. I'm pretty sure that's going ahead this year. There's always DevOps meetups in London every month if you're based in London. DevOps Exchange and DevOps London. So come along and meet one of those.
Okay, thank you a lot for this conversation.
Pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.